What's up, FA Nation? It's time for another edition of Thursday Night Football Preview. We're going to be previewing all of Thursday Night Football tonight, the game between the Tennessee Titans and the Indianapolis Colts. I'm Jen Piacenti, joined by my favorite Thursday co-host. I have so many co-hosts. I shouldn't say favorite because then he might get the big head.
You said favorite on Thursday.
Adam Ronis.
So I guess I'm your only co-host on Thursday.
That's true. You are my only co-host on Thursdays. So Thursday Night Football, we have Tennessee favored. No, we have Indianapolis favored by 1. Who are you taking in this game?
I don't love this game. I'm staying away from it. But if I was forced to take someone, I would take Tennessee. This line movement is a little shaky. The Titans opened up as 2.5-point favorites. But this happened with the Colts last week, too, where the Colts were underdogs to Baltimore by 3. And they wound up finishing as a 1-point favorite, and they lost. So sometimes that sharp money doesn't always come through. So Tennessee's at home. I think they're the better team, but they have not played well offensively the last couple of weeks. Some injuries on the offensive line have been a factor. And the Colts have a good defense, but the Colts offense has just not been good this year. And they have played a pretty bad schedule as well. So I think Tennessee's the better team. And if I could get them as underdogs at home, I would take them. But again, I'm not really crazy about betting this game.
Yeah, that's how I'm feeling too. I mean, Tennessee's been really good. Okay, they had a couple down games, but Indianapolis, is there anyone to get excited about for Indianapolis? Let's start with the backfield. This has got to be one of the number one questions we're getting this week. Jonathan Taylor. What do I do with Jonathan Taylor? And then what do I do with Jordan Wilkins and Nyheim Hines? Are you starting? Which of these backs are you starting if you're starting a Colts back? And then in addition to that, I want you to give me an idea of what other running backs you would start Jonathan Taylor over.
Yeah, I wouldn't really want to start any of them, but if I was picking one, it would be Jonathan Taylor. He ran well early in the game last week against the Ravens, scored a touchdown, and then had a fumble that was returned for a touchdown. And we didn't see much of him, but I did see Frank Reich say that they fell behind in that second half and they had to go more into pass mode. So it's just tricky, though, because it's hard to trust Taylor. Just because we've seen carries limited. What if he fumbles early on? Wilkins hasn't been great either. I think this offensive line was supposed to be better than it has played. So I would really play Taylor if I had to. Ideally, I don't want to, but I know there's some people in situations that have to play him. So I really don't want to play anyone from this backfield.
So would you rather play David Montgomery or Jonathan Taylor?
Well, the tricky part with Montgomery is he's still not out of concussion protocol. He didn't practice today. It sounds like he should be ready to go, but that game's Monday. So if you're forced between those two, you play Taylor tonight.
And here we are, Thursday night, and these are the questions that we're prepared to answer for you because there are going to be situations like that, and that's why we are here to take any of your questions. We are on YouTube, we're on Facebook, and we are on Periscope, so send them our way, and we will get right to them. A few more questions. Tennessee. Who do you like tonight for Tennessee if you're playing on FanDuel or DraftKings?
I mean, A.J. Brown's always in play. The guy's been money in the bank, scoring a touchdown almost every week, big play threat. Slight concern with him is, he has not been practicing on Wednesdays and Thursdays because of that knee, because of maintenance. So, you always wonder about the short week. Derrick Henry, it's not a great matchup, but we saw last week he struggled. But, he's always capable against any defense of, running for 100, scoring a touchdown or two. Jonnu Smith had to block a little bit more last week. So he's kind of touchdown dependent. And, people might look to Corey Davis tonight. He's playing after the death of his brother due to cancer yesterday. And he had 10 targets in each of the last 2 games before last week where he wasn't involved and didn't record a catch. So I think people might be looking at him tonight. But this is a tricky game with not many options, especially on the Colts side. And we know for the Titans, it's usually Henry and A.J. Brown. So especially if you're playing tonight, you're going to have to find a way to be different. And it's probably finding the right Colts player that finds the end zone.
Yeah. Any love for Michael Pittman?
Yeah. I mean, Pittman, I think is, last week had a pretty good game. And I think they want to get him involved. So, yeah, I think he's a viable play tonight. Not in season-long leagues. I wouldn't play him unless I was really desperate. It was a deep league. But if you're talking showdown slates, I think you can look at Pittman tonight.
All right. Well, let's head over to YouTube, take some questions. PPR flex spot. Zach Moss, Jalen Rigger, or T. Higgins?
I think there I'm going to go. It was PPR?
PPR, yes.
I'm going to go T. Higgins there. I know the Steelers defense is good, but you could pass on them. And that's the way Cincinnati's going to have to get it done. Moss looks like the better back in Buffalo, but he's still kind of splitting, and Josh Allen takes away some carries there near the goal line. So I'm going to go with T. Higgins.
All right. Pittman's out. Jimmy's over here giving us some feedback here. He says, Hines, not Henry. Davis has the plus matchup. Okay, Jimmy touchdown. We're going to have you on next week. You can help do all the advice here. All right, let me pop over to Facebook and see what we've got going there. They're not coming through on my computer, so I'm just going over to my phone here. Sorry, guys, to make this work. All right. Fulgham, T. Higgins, or Duke Johnson?
I'm going to go with Fulgham there. He's been playing really well. I think this offense for Philadelphia is headed in the right direction. They're starting to get healthy. They're coming off the bye. They didn't play great against the Giants last time. They needed that comeback in the final 4 minutes, but Fulgham's been getting it done every week. So I do like Duke Johnson this week just because of volume, assuming David Johnson is out and he did not practice again today due to that concussion. So I think it looks like Duke Johnson will be the starter this week, but I'm going to go Travis Fulgham.
So I want to ask you a little bit about Duke Johnson. So Duke Johnson obviously got the bulk of the carries last week after David Johnson left. The Cleveland Browns run defense actually is pretty good. We think of the Browns as a good matchup, but it's really more their secondary that's a little weak. Their run defense is pretty good. How confident are you starting Duke Johnson if David Johnson is out? And would you start him over someone like Jonathan Taylor?
Yeah, I definitely would start Duke Johnson over Jonathan Taylor. Look, the bottom line is volume. And when you get the volume that Duke Johnson's going to get, that puts you in the RB2 conversation. He wasn't great last week, right? 16 carries, 41 yards, but he got a touchdown, and he had 4 catches for 32 yards. So even if you take away the touchdown last week, he gave you 11 points in a PPR, and you're probably like, oh, that's not a lot. Go look at the running backs from last week, and you see what 11 points in a PPR. Yeah, it's not Dalvin Cook, but not everyone has Dalvin Cook. So, yeah, I think Duke Johnson's a solid RB2 in PPR this week, and it's also a revenge game if you like that narrative as well.
Okay. Flex in a standard league, T. Higgins or Jalen Reagor?
I do like Reagor this week, but I'm going to go with Higgins. He's playing very well. Again, the weakness for the Steelers is against the pass. I think the Bengals will have a tough time running the ball. The risk is, does Burrow have enough time to throw? But I'm going to go with Higgins. I mean, he's just been producing, and the Bengals are going to have to pass a lot in this game.
Standard league, pick 3, need 1 wide receiver, 1 running back, 1 flex. J.K. Dobbins, DJ Chark, Jalen Reagor, Emmanuel Sanders, Jamal Williams, A.J. Green.
Chark's definitely in there for sure. I mean, he didn't practice today due to an illness. They said it's not related to COVID-19, so we'll have to keep an eye on that one for tomorrow. Mark Ingram did not practice today after putting in a limited practice, so I'd go with Dobbins as of right now for the second one. And the third, I'm trying to remember now here who we had. Who were the other 3?
Emmanuel Sanders, Jamal Williams, A.J. Green.
Oh, there was no Reagor?
And Reagor.
Okay. I'm going to go Reagor here. He had a touchdown in his first game back. So I'm going to go with him. I think Jamal Williams is actually not the worst play because we know he still gets involved even when Aaron Jones is healthy. And if this game does blow out, the line is 13.5, 14. You could see Williams a lot in the final corner. That's always risky, though, so just keep that in mind. But for those that are desperate and have Jamal Williams in the mix, he's not the worst play this week.
I like that. I like that a lot. Okay. Half-point PPR, A.J. Brown or Mike Davis?
Half-point PPR. I think I'm going to have to go A.J. Brown there. I just think he has a better shot at a touchdown. With Mike Davis, I do like him this week. McCaffrey hasn't officially been ruled out, but he's not going to play. But it's Tampa Bay's run defense, so he's going to have to get it done in the passing game. And if you're talking half-point PPR, that takes a little bit away from his receptions. And he was not good the last couple games before McCaffrey went out. So DFS, I like him on DraftKings. He's 4,000, so you definitely play him in cash, and even in most of the tournaments too. It's just he doesn't really need to do much to get value there. But I'm gonna go with AJ Brown just because he's a big play threat. I mean, we've seen limited volume in games, and he gets like a 56-yard play. So I'm gonna go with AJ Brown there.
I like that call. I do want to ask though, do you think that maybe Mike Davis's value won't be as good now that Curtis Samuel is being used in a little more creative way?
And it hurts a little bit. I mean, really more for touchdowns because they have been using Samuel around the goal line, and he scored a couple runs. But if McCaffrey's out, I think Davis is still going to get huge volume. Even so, the game before McCaffrey came back, he had 14 touches. I don't understand that game, why he only had one catch in that game. That was the Thursday night game against Atlanta. I don't know what they were doing in that game. And then the game before, he had 12 touches. So, it's not the 24, 26 that we saw before, but he should still get around 15 touches. And when you talk about the running back landscape and guys getting that many touches, they're going to be on the RB1, RB2 borderline because as you get deeper, you have so many situations that are in flux. The Baltimore backfield splits, the Colts backfield splits, the Chargers. We have no idea who's going to be the guy this week. So as you get further down the list, it gets dicey.
All right, this is a very, very important question from a very, very important family member. Pick two, Fulgham, Deontay Johnson, or Chase Claypool?
And this is PPR?
It is PPR.
Fulgham is in. The guy's playing too well. And I'm leaning Deontay Johnson. It's so tough with those Steelers receivers. They're all closely ranked for me. But Deontay Johnson, we've just seen when he's healthy and on the field, he tends to get a lot of the targets. So I'm going to go with Deontay Johnson.
Okay, so Adam said Fulgham and Deontay Johnson. I don't know why he doesn't trust me. Sorry. Swift, Deontay.
Opinion.
No, actually, it is really hard from week to week picking between Deontay Johnson and Chase Claypool, but they're both so great. What are you going to do? Cut one of them? I guess we could move one of them, but I don't want to. And I like Fulgham. Fulgham is definitely in. Swift, Deontay Johnson, Duke Johnson, or Travis Fulgham, half-point PPR, needs two.
Two, okay. So it was Swift, Fulgham, Deontay Johnson, and who?
Duke Johnson.
I'm going to go with Swift and Fulgham. TJ Hockenson.
Really?
Yeah. TJ Hockenson didn't practice today with a toe issue, and I have this problem that I have to address right after this live stream because I have TJ Hockenson in a lot of leagues, and a couple of them, my other option is Jonnu Smith. So I need to decide tonight whether I'm going to play Jonnu or wait it out on Hockenson. I want to wait it out, but if he doesn't practice tomorrow, then I got to go to the waiver wire and now clog up my roster with 3 tight ends, which I really don't want to do. But that could open things up for Swift. And I think Detroit could play and Galladay out too. Swift almost scored last week. He fumbled out of bounds at the 1. I know Swift is kind of frustrating, but I still lean with him and Fulgham.
That's interesting to me, though. So you would start DeAndre Swift over Duke Johnson?
I think, yeah. You know what? I think I actually have Duke one spot higher, so it's close.
Yeah, that's hard for me. I hear you, though. If Hawk doesn't play, that might change it. But, Duke Johnson, he catches. So he'll get
he catches, but he had 4 receptions last week. Deshaun Watson does not check down to running backs. So
no, he doesn't check down to running backs, but he's going to get the carries, and there's really no one for him to share with there. Who's he going to share with?
No,
I know. Be him.
It's close though. It's a lot close because again, if he doesn't score a touchdown and does what he did last week, 11 points in PPR, which is fine, where Swift has the ability to break a touchdown on a reception. It's just frustrating the way they use him. They use Peterson way too much. They're way too predictable. There was a series last week near the goal line. 1st and 2nd down, DeAndre Swift is in. On 3rd down, they bring in Adrian Peterson. We all know what's going to happen. Adrian Peterson's going to get the football, And then what happened? He got tackled for a 4-yard loss, and they had to kick a field goal. Makes no sense. So that's the problem with Detroit. Their play call.
That is the problem with Detroit.
It's so bad.
You can't trust them. And Washington is a little bit tougher of a defense too. I'm actually playing Washington in some of my DFS lineups because I don't think Detroit's going to do much without Kenny Galladay.
Yeah, their offense is not the same without Galladay, and if Hawkins is out, forget it, man. That's going to be really ugly. But that could have them rely more on Swift. So I think that's what you kind of wait on and see, because I do have them ranked very closely. I'm gonna double check now. I think I have 114, 115, if I'm not mistaken. This is PPR.
This is half point PPR.
Point PPR. Okay. Let's see. As of right now, and again, I update these up until kickoff Sunday. I have it at 14 for Johnson, 15 for Swift. So it's close. So yeah, I guess John.
Okay, so
that's the thing, and that's the thing people need to understand. Like, you could rank guys back to back or 2 spots apart. They're really close. So if you're coming to the rankings for validation and say for you, example, Jennifer, you were like, I like Duke Johnson better than Swift. I want to see what a fantasy alarm has. Oh, well, they have it the other way, or 1 spot away, then go with your gut.
Yeah, I agree. You guys got to definitely trust your own gut a lot of times. Never, if we tell you something, but you're not feeling it, and especially like Adam said, if they're ranked very closely.
Unless we're very adamant about something, like if you ask Jen and I, we both say, oh, do this, go with it. And then if we're wrong, don't tell us. Just, leave us alone.
Just pretend. We'll all be happier that way. Okay, so what we're saying today, Keith, is we're saying Duke Johnson and Travis Fulgham, but we would like for you to check back in with us on the live stream Sunday morning when we have more information about whether or not TJ Hawkinson will be playing, because we think that might change. Swift maybe slightly higher than Duke Johnson. And of course, David Johnson could play. So if David Johnson plays, I think it's no question Duke is off the list, right? Oh, yeah, it's definitely Swift. Yeah.
The indication is, though, that David Johnson's probably not playing. That's what it looks like.
Probably
but it's not official.
It's not official. So check back in with us on Sunday. Right now, we're going Duke Johnson and Travis Fulgham. Okay, PPR flex, Justin Jefferson, Zach Moss, or Mike Williams? I got to go Jefferson.
Yep, me too.
Is Carson playing this week?
Idea. I don't know, man. Pete Carroll's a liar. Because a couple weeks ago, we'll wait, see a game time decision. Last week, the same garbage. So I haven't seen a practice report from Seattle today. They're obviously a little bit behind us in time zone. Well, not for you, but for me. And as far as practice reports, so I don't know. I have him in the rankings now, but I don't know if he's going to play.
So we're giving you the Elmo. We don't know. We wish we knew, but we do not. Okay, standard scoring. Need 2: AJ Brown, Leonard Fournette, or Tim Patrick, or Christian Kirk.
I will go with AJ Brown and Christian Kirk.
Wow. So you are feeling Kirk. You like the Kyler connection.
Wait, you think people will said, wow. Who did I leave out? Am I missing something?
Leonard Fournette and Tim Patrick. So a lot of people in standard might go Fournette, right?
Yeah, you could, but Kirk's been playing so well and finding the end zone. And Tre'Davious White's probably going to be in Hopkins. Yeah, I'm going Kirk, man, because Fournette. Fournette, look, he's not a bad play. It's just you got Jones there. If they're playing from ahead, maybe it's more Ronald Jones. Yeah, I'm going with Christian Kirk.
All right. I like it. I mean, I think it's been hard for people to admit that Christian Kirk has finally become that number 2 guy. Like, there's a lot of people that just aren't buying it, but I think he's had like 9 targets like the last 3 games or something like that.
I think people have not really caught up with him yet. I agree on that. I only have him in 1 league, but he's been in my lineup every week. I mean, part of it was due to buys, but I'm playing him over Hollywood Brown this week. I mean, it's getting to the, I love Hollywood Brown, but he's lower in the rankings than he has been all year. And it's to the point where, Christian Kirk's just been more reliable. I mean, he's got 8 targets in each of his last 2 games. He has 5 touchdowns in the last 3 games. Now, you don't want to count on that going forward. But this is an offense that's putting up points. I mean, they're scoring 30-plus points every single week, and Kirk's evolved, and they're taking shots to him deep downfield.
Yeah, I know. It's pretty fun to see he and Kyler working together. All right, Pittman or Ruggs in a PPR?
I got to go Pittman, man. Ruggs is just not involved at all, man. It's Aguilar, it's Renfro, it's Waller. So I'm going to go with Pittman.
Yeah, all right. I think I have to agree with you. Fulgham, everybody is back this week on offense for Philly. Yeah, but I'm still going Fulgham as well. Jimmy's saying no, that Fulgham is not a good pick. I disagree. If you look at the numbers for Travis Fulgham, what is he like? He's like a top 10 receiver so far on the season, isn't he?
Said everyone is back. They played last game with Goddard and Rager. They played. The only guy that's coming back is Miles Sanders.
Alshon Jeffrey.
Who cares? I mean, Alshon Jeffrey.
Who cares? That's how I feel too.
Snaps. He's not.
I feel the same way.
They've already said Fulgham's playing the rest of the year as a starter in this offense. They're not gonna go past him for Alshon Jeffrey, who might get hurt.
I agree.
So yeah, Fulgham is a guy. I think it's hard for people because they didn't know about him before the year, and he's been cut by so many teams. So it's hard for them to believe that at this point in the season that he's a guy that you pretty much, unless you're in a real shallow league, he's someone that you put in your lineup pretty much every single week.
Yep, it's time to buy. Full point, need 2 wide receivers, A.J. Brown, Tyler Boyd, DJ Moore, Allen Robinson, Terry McLaurin. Oh, how do you only get 2?
There's PPR?
Full point PPR. I'm going Allen Robinson and Terry McLaurin.
Yeah, me too. The only thing is, though, keep an eye on this. Allen Robinson was put on an injury report today with a knee issue, but they play Monday, so this is kind of like a Wednesday, and the Wednesday is usually never a big deal. But you'll have an option on Sunday to go to anyway, even with Brown playing tonight. So yeah, it's Robinson who's got a great matchup against Minnesota, and McLaurin who's just, it doesn't matter who he plays against, he just puts up huge numbers every week.
And then if A-Rob is doubtful, would you pivot to Boyd or Moore? I think I would pivot to Boyd.
Yeah, Boyd.
Okay. All right. Week 10, Robinson and McLaurin. Full point PPR. I need 1 running back. Jonathan Taylor, Devin Singletary, Darrell Henderson, Mike Davis. It's Mike Davis.
Yep, Mike Davis.
Yep. Need 1 for flex. Robbie Anderson, Curtis Samuel, or give Jonathan Taylor some love.
Robbie Anderson. He's just been the guy that they look for the most this year, and they brought him in, and Rule was familiar with him from Temple, and they paid him, and he's played a big role. So Curtis Samuel, I know, is coming off good games, but Robbie Anderson is the go-to guy there.
And not necessarily will it be the same as the first time they faced the Bucs, but in the first game versus the Bucs, it was all Robbie Anderson, more than 100 yards that game. He broke off for a really long play, if I remember correctly. So I'm liking Robbie Anderson this week. Half point PPR, need 2 running backs. Jonathan Taylor, Jerick McKinnon, Chris Carson. And he has Dallas if Carson is out, or Damien Harris.
It's McKinnon and Carson. Wait, who did you say he has? McKinnon, Carson?
Jonathan Taylor.
Right.
Jonathan Taylor, McKinnon, Carson, and he has Dallas if Carson's out, and Damien Harris.
Yeah, I'd go McKinnon and Carson. And then if Carson's out, I guess DJ Dallas.
Over Damien Harris or Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah.
Isn't Damien Harris also banged up?
Yeah, he was limited in practice today. I think he's been limited 2 days in a row. The issue with him, the Patriots are 7-point underdogs. If they fall behind by a lot, he's really not involved in the game, and he's dependent on a touchdown, and we know Cam Newton runs a lot at the goal line. So even last week, Damien Harris ran to the 1, and I joked right after the play. I said, Damien Harris set up the touchdown for Cam, but I think it went to Burkhead instead. It's like Harris looks good.
Cam Newton on target for 17 rushing touchdowns this year, by the way, guys. 17.
Yeah, and he has 2 passing touchdowns.
So ridiculous. Okay, half point PPR. Need 2 wide receivers. Robbie Anderson, Chris Godwin, A.J. Brown, DK Metcalf, and Robert Woods. You have to go Metcalf.
God, yeah. This is tough between Brown and Woods. Woods has Seattle. I mean, that's a pristine matchup. This is PPR.
Think I would go Woods.
This is PPR.
Half points. Half points.
PPR. That kind of shifts it a little bit to Brown, I think. Yeah, because if it was full point PPR, I would go Woods, but half point PPR, I'm gonna go Brown. It's close though. Woods is if whoever asked the question is feeling Woods, you can go with it. But I think it's half point PPR. I lean Brown.
John, I'm feeling Woods. Ronis is feeling Brown. We both agree on Metcalf, so I think you have strong plays no matter which way you go. Need one of these 3.5-point PPR. Mike Williams, Brandon Ayuk, or T. Higgins?
It said he needs 1?
1.5 PPR. Mike Williams, Brandon Ayuk, T. Higgins. Brandon Ayuk?
Yeah, I'm going to go Ayuk. I mean, we saw last week Richie James have that big game with Ayuk out. So I know it's not you worry about that offense. And the Saints defense was ridiculous last week, but I think that was like their outlier great game. We know the defense wasn't good before then. So, I'm going to go with Ayuk.
Jimmy would like to know if he should make dinner or just have cheese and crackers.
Make dinner.
Make dinner, because you know what? You don't need to watch the football game tonight.
No, it's not that bad of a game. You think it's that bad?
No, it's not that bad.
I like Derrick Henry, A.J. Brown, Tannehill. The Colts are, that's where.
I do too. I want to ask you about Derrick Henry. How do you think he's going to do tonight? Because there's a lot of props going around saying, he's only going to get like 50 rushing yards or something like that. But I don't know. I know the Colts have a really good run defense, but Derrick Henry's still Derrick Henry. And also, he turns into turbo Derrick Henry about halfway through the season. We're at the part where he becomes like, like in Super Mario Brothers, he becomes Super Mario. He becomes like Super Henry. I think it's like becoming Super Henry time. And for the rest of the season, from here on out, it could just be like, we could be talking video game. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't see a huge Henry game. I mean, I think people are looking at the Colts defense. I mean, I know Dalvin Cook now compared to early in the year is different, but they held Cook to 63 yards on 14 carries back in week 2. James Robinson at 62 yards rushing. So the most they've allowed this year to a running back is Kareem Hunt with 72 yards. So, but the last few weeks, they haven't gone against great running backs. The Ravens backfield, Detroit, Mixon had 54 yards on 18 carries. So, yeah, I mean, Henry is a guy that can break off a 60-yard play and make your day. And he's getting at least 20 carries. So I don't like risking an under on a Derrick Henry rushing yards because that guy can go off against anyone.
I agree. Gio Bernard or Duke Johnson for an injury replacement at running back and a full point PPR.
Yeah, if I'm going Duke, Gio has the tougher matchup against Pittsburgh where he's going to have to do it more in the pass game. And I think he still can come through. I still have Gio as a solid RB2, but I'm going to go Duke.
Need a flex and a full point. DJ Moore, Tyler Boyd, AJ Brown, Singletary, Henderson, Jonathan Taylor. Boyd. No, Brown.
Well, why are people asking about AJ Brown so much? Like,
I don't know, because they've been scared into this Titans. They've been scared into this Indianapolis defense thing, I think.
Could have a bad game, and then people will come at me and be like, "Oh," but that's hindsight. That's after the fact. But what have you seen from AJ Brown over this course of the season that tells you not to play this guy? He gets it done every single week. And he'll have a down game at some point, no doubt about that. But why are we asking about A.J. Brown? Like, he's a wide receiver 1 every week.
Jonnu or Hooper for tight end?
Hooper. Great matchup. He saw an increased role before he got hurt. No Odell Beckham. Hooper. It's amazing because I didn't like Hooper before the year. Now he's a top 8 top tight end the rest of the way.
Totally.
Complete things change. By the way, back to A.J. Brown. Dude has scored every game this year except one.
I love A.J. Every game that he's played.
Yeah. He didn't score week 1. Every game since then that he's played in, he scored.
Yeah, I love A.J. Brown. I have him in quite a few leagues. Need a defense, standard Washington or Detroit?
Washington. They're the better defense. Stafford has been prone to turnovers. So, yeah, Washington.
Jerry Miller wants to know why you won't answer his questions he's sending you on Twitter. Because I won't ask you what it is. Because what?
Because I'm doing a live stream.
Because he's doing a live stream. All right, let me jump over to Periscope. I do not see any Periscope questions. If by any chance, John, if there are Periscope questions you see that I don't, will you send me a message or talk in my ear like the voice of God? Otherwise, I'm going back over to Facebook. No, I'm going back over to YouTube because that's where we're getting crowded. We're going to YouTube. Full point PPR. Need a tight end. have Tunyon, but would you drop him for Ebron, Akins, Hooper, Higbee, or Everett?
Oh, yeah, I would do it for Hooper. Actually, Tunyon showed up in the injury report today, too, with an ankle issue. But, yeah, I'd rather have Hooper. Wait, just repeat the names again. Make sure, you didn't say Evan Ingram, right?
Okay. No. Ebron, who also has a good schedule going forward. Akins, no. Hooper, yes. Higbee or Everett, you can't pick between the two. So it's got to be either Hooper or Ebron. It's got to be Hooper. Yeah. Okay. Need one flex and a half-point PPR. AJ Green, Reagor, or Malcolm Brown?
I'd go Reagor. If Henderson is out, I would probably go Brown. But it sounds McVay said Henderson's going to play, but we can't trust McVay.
Yeah, that's the understatement of the year. Baker or Alex Smith this week?
Baker. I'm actually starting in one league, and I feel like absolute garbage.
Good, you should. You should feel really garbagey about it.
It's a 14-team league, and I have one quarterback, and this is a big week for me. If I lose, I'm probably not going to get in the playoffs, and I got to rely on Baker Mayfield.
Oh God!
At least he has.
You're in a bad way. This is why you like Austin Hooper.
No, that's not why. It's.
Just kidding. So are you afraid? Okay? So let me ask you about Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. How do you think they're going to use those two? Do you think Chubb's going to be back to full strength? Do you think it's going to be a 50-50 split? Do you think it'll be more Kareem Hunt? And do you buy into maybe the idea that they'll be playing a little bit from behind and perhaps Kareem Hunt will be used more than Chubb anyway?
No, I think that it's going to be mostly Chubb. He practiced today without a brace. So I think he's going to – look, if I have Nick Chubb, I'm playing him. I mean, sometimes people overthink it. Like we saw – people were worried on this live stream last week. Remember all the Aaron Jones worry? And most of the questions I said, play him, right? If the training staff thinks he's good to go and he's out there, you play him. And there was a report, he might not get that much. And then last second they said he would. And they actually kept him in the game longer than I thought. I mean, the fourth quarter was kind of over and they kept him in there. So, yeah, Chubb, it was all leaning towards Chubb coming through after the bye. And he got through without a brace. They didn't officially activate him from the injured reserve yet. I think they said they were going to make that decision tomorrow. But, yeah, I think Nick Chubb's going to get most of the touches. Kareem Hunt will still be involved, and he's probably a lower-end RB2, but I think Nick Chubb gets the bulk of the touches.
I will say Kareem Hunt is considerably less expensive over on FanDuel, and so I am using him in that situation. So there could be that reason. If you have Kareem Hunt, you're still playing him. You're not sitting him because Chubb's back, right?
For Kareem Hunt? You're asking about...
I mean, if you have Kareem Hunt, you're still playing him in your seasonals. So you're not downgrading him a whole lot because Chubb is back.
Well, I am downgrading him because he was being ranked as an RB1. Now he's a low RB2. So in most instances, you're going to play him unless you're in a shallow league and, if you have a Gio Bernard and Mixon's out and a Duke Johnson and then another top back, I'm going to play those guys all over Hunt.
Really? So you would play Duke Johnson over Kareem Hunt?
Yeah, he's gonna get more touches.
All right, we'll see. I think that it could be Hunt more than we'll see. It'll be fun to see. All right, need 3 and a PPR. Boyd, Fuller, Deontay Johnson, DJ Moore, Hollywood Brown. I say Boyd, Fuller, Deontay Johnson.
Yes, I agree.
Okay. PPR, Ayuk, Jacoby Myers, or Christian Kirk?
I'm going to go, I think, do I have Ayuk higher? I mean, I like Christian Kirk a lot. So this is PPR?
Yeah, PPR.
It was Ayuk, Kirk, and who?
Jacoby Myers.
I have Ayuk one spot higher than Kirk.
Okay. I was going to go Ayuk here. Yeah. Speaking of Ayuk and Baker Mayfield, today on our podcast, I'm just going slightly off tangent, but it totally applies. I was talking with Jerry Ferrara, and we have this big rivalry because we're doing our head-to-head this week in the Gotham Gridiron District. You know Gotham Diamond District, Steve's league that we play in baseball, Adam? Well, the football league is Gotham Gridiron. So this is my second year playing in it, and I invited Jerry in, and because he's never done an auction, like he's actually done really well. He's in second right now, and I'm in first, so it's our head-to-head. So it's like a big, thing. And he said that he wanted to also double up and do a head-to-head on FanDuel. I said, okay, but how about we do this where we pick each other's quarterbacks? We have to build a lineup based on whoever, whatever quarterback I say you have to build on, and I'll build on whatever you do. And he said, okay. And I said, I'm so confident, I'm going to let you pick my quarterback. So he goes with Nick Mullins. So I have to build it, on Nick Mullins. Fine with me. I'm going to save so much money in Brandon Ayuk, whatever. I gave him Baker Mayfield.
I don't know. I think he has the advantage over you. I don't know what the salaries are, but he has the better quarterback for the matchup.
He maybe, or maybe not.
Well, if Cleveland just focuses on the run, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is a matchup though that Baker's going to come out and throw a little bit.
So that's my question to you. So what you think it's going to be another 5? It can't be another 5-touchdown game like Cincinnati.
I doubt it's going to be 5 touchdowns, but I could see it being 2 or 3. I mean, the Texans have been.
Who's he throwing him to? Hooper?
Landry, Hooper, Hunt.
Landry? Hunt, maybe the Hunt. Guys know I don't like Baker Mayfield, so any chance I get to talk about Baker Mayfield.
Jake Luton had 304 yards against them in his debut.
I know. I know.
So, yeah, I don't know. I think.
But he also had DJ Chark.
What do you mean?
I don't think there's a receiver right now in Cleveland that's at DJ Chark's level.
There's not, but Landry's close. Landry's been banged up, but the bye week.
Yeah, he's been injured.
Yeah, but
maybe Landry will be throwing the passes though.
Maybe he throws a touchdown pass to Baker, and then he gets a half-point reception for the catch, and a probable touchdown. So
I'm totally winning this head-to-head.
Okay, I got confidence in you, but if you're asking
I know
me,
you do.
I'd rather have Baker over Mullins this week.
I'm so excited about beating him with Mullins. I can't wait to do it. PPR, need one. Juju, Godwin, or Boyd?
Boyd.
Boyd is good. Like he just is. He's good, guys. All right. Wentz or Carr this week?
Wentz.
I agree. I know he did lay an egg last time, but I would go back to Wentz here too. Need 2.5 points. McKissick, Henderson, Sanders, Singletary, or Chubb?
This is half point?
Yeah.
It's Sanders and Chubb.
Sanders and Chubb.
Yeah.
Hey, talk to me about J.D. McKissick and Antonio Gibson.
I love Gibson still. The problem is he hasn't played any third downs, and he's not involved in the passing game much. But it's a good matchup. Looks like the shoulder issue's not bad, and he's expected to play. McKissick, I still like in a full point PPR. I mean, Alex Smith loves to check down, and he continues to get the targets, and he's better in pass protection. I believe I saw that the play where Kyle Allen got hurt, it was Gibson who got beat in pass protection. So that's been the issue for him. And McKissick's better at it. So I have Gibson ranked higher, but McKissick's a fine in PPR as an RB2.
Gibson leads the team in touchdowns, I believe. I believe he has 5, which is one more than Terry McLaurin. So for me, it's hard to look away from Gibson. Yeah,
Gibson's still a good start. The concern is a game like last week where they fall behind and they're in heavy pass mode. I don't see that happening this week. I think they could play from ahead. I think it could be a 1-score game. Detroit finds a way to mess shit up. So I'm not worried about Washington running away with this game. I mean, or playing from behind a lot, because Detroit they're so poorly coached. So, but there is the downside of Gibson. Like last week, he only had 6 carries, but he did find the end zone. It saved his day. But I don't see them falling behind Detroit like they did the Giants last week.
Kim would like to see the Elmo again, so I'm gonna. Is Chris Carson playing? Can you do it, Adam? Maybe you don't. PPR, Jonnu or Gronk or pick up Hooper? Gronk.
Let me see. I think I have Hooper one. This is PPR?
PPR, yeah.
I can't believe. I thought Jonnu was like he made it after that start to the year. And
The thing for me is, go ahead.
I have Hooper one spot higher than Gronk. Less competition
You do.
for targets. Yeah, it's a great
Okay.
matchup. It's a good matchup. And look, I think Gronk will bounce back. I think the whole Tampa Bay offense will bounce back. Like, ignore what happened on Sunday night.
But I have to ask, like, are you afraid that maybe if you drop Gronk, you're going to regret it? Well, that's my concern. If you drop him for 1 week.
Wait. So he needs to drop. Wait.
No, she's asking Gronk or pick up Hooper.
Oh, I mean, I have Hooper ranked one spot higher. If you want to keep Gronk, that's fine. And just
I feel like that's what I would do so that you don't end up, Half-point PPR need 3 wide receivers: Fuller, Kupp, Boyd, McLaurin, Fulgham, T. Higgins.
What the?
Yes. The answer is yes. All of them.
All right. Let's. So wait. I heard McLaurin, who's in. All right. McLaurin's in. How many we need? 3.
We need 3. This is who we have left: Fuller, Kupp, Boyd, Fulgham, and T. Higgins.
Fuller and Kupp.
Fuller and Kupp.
Yeah, Kupp is
great matchups.
Yeah, Kupp and Woods this week are just really good plays against Seattle. I mean, the lowest total in a Seattle game this year is either 52 or 53. I think it's 53. I mean, they are just giving up their defense because they don't really have a great pass rush. I know they added Carlos Dunlap. He had a sack last week, but the secondary's not good, and they're getting no pass rush. So receivers are open left and right. So, yeah, even Josh Reynolds is a deep play in DFS this week. He's been involved more the last 2 weeks. Even Gerald Everett. Yeah, like a lot of Rams plays a good place this week.
Josh Reynolds is so cheap. He's like 3,500 on DraftKings. So he's actually, you just stole my video. He's going to be in the DFS Bargains video that's going to be posting tomorrow. Not that I think he's a great play, but if you just want a piece of that offense, he's so inexpensive. If you want to, spend your money on DK Metcalf or whoever, Josh Reynolds is someone you could consider. But Kupp is kind of my pick of the week. I absolutely love his matchup this week. And McLaurin too. Best GPP quarterbacks. Oh, obviously Nick Mullins.
I like Goff this week.
Yes. Goff is also in the video coming out tomorrow morning. And he's 7,400 on FanDuel and like 65 on DraftKings. So very affordable. Need 1.5 point PPR. Edmonds, Drake, or Moss?
It's whoever starts for Arizona. I hope it's Edmonds, but Drake was limited in practice. I think he should take another week off.
Yeah, you think. Need a wide receiver in a full PPR. Shepard or Jacoby Myers?
I've been a huge Jacoby Myers fan. I've been talking him up for the last couple weeks. Shepard's been the one though for the Giants.
He has.
Who do I have? This full point PPR, right?
I lost the question.
All right, let me see. I'll assume it's full point PPR.
Full PPR, yeah, full.
Yeah, I have Jacoby Myers a couple spots higher, so I'm gonna go with Myers. That's the guy Cam's looking for.
It is. That was fairly obvious on Monday. Johnny or Hooper in a PPR?
Hooper.
All right, guys. I am leaving YouTube. Nobody over on Periscope. Okay. And Facebook is slowing down. We walked through them. All right, let's talk about some more stuff. Let's see. So Devontae Adams, obviously a strong play this week. Jacksonville. Who are your favorite running backs for this week? Like, who are your top 5? James Robinson, Nick Chubb.
For season-long leagues?
For season-long.
Yeah, PPR, I have Cook, Kamara, Aaron Jones, James Robinson, Miles Sanders in PPR.
Miles Sanders.
Yeah, I'm not worried about him. I think they rested him, and he's going to be getting the bulk of the touches in the backfield. We might see Boston Scott sprinkled in. I know he did a solid job filling in. But Sanders, again, I think this Philly offense is just headed in the right direction. They're getting healthier. They got a really good schedule. So Sanders is a guy that I have in a few leagues. It's nice to get him back, and I think he'll be fine.
I want to ask you your thoughts on the Buffalo-Arizona game. Last I checked, Arizona was favored by 2.5. The points total on the board looks really high for Vegas. Who do you like in this game?
Well, it's interesting because last week I said Buffalo was going to beat Seattle, and I thought, but I had a nice parlay going, and Arizona ruined it. And I said a few weeks ago that I didn't think Arizona was that good, but I do think they win this game. I know people might be surprised they're favored. I mean, they're home, and we don't know what home field advantage means this year without a lot of fans. Some stadiums have it. Usually it's 3 points. So they're basically saying this game is kind of a pick 'em. But I think Buffalo is coming off an emotional win. I think Arizona gets the job done here. I've been disappointed in Arizona, though. They've lost too many games to me that they should have won. They came out flat against the Lions this year and lost. I thought, and maybe Miami's a lot better than I think. I do think their defense is good. I love what the coach has done there. But if you want to be a contender in that NFC West, that's a game that you shouldn't lose, in my opinion. So I was kind of disappointed, and they got conservative at the end of the game. I thought the play call in that game was horrific too. People are upset about Chase Edmonds and 25 carries, 70 yards. They didn't pass him the ball, and that they kept running into the teeth of the defense. And Miami's run defense is good when they should have gotten Edmonds the ball in space. So, and then there was a drive late in the game. They bombed it down the field to Kirk, and then they got conservative, ran, and settled for a field goal that they missed. So I think Kingsbury has not been calling great plays there for them this year. And then they also lost to the Panthers by 10. So they have some bad losses this year. I mean, to lose to the Lions, Panthers, all right, Miami, I'll give them. They still, those are games that you don't want to lose, So they really don't have great wins this year. The Seattle game, which was a Sunday night game, and they had to come from behind. That was their best win. But everyone puts up points on Seattle. So I still don't think we know how good Arizona is, but I do think they win this game at home.
Yeah, I think they probably do too. And is there anything to stop? It could be interesting. We have two quarterbacks that love to run. Kyler Murray out rushing Lamar Jackson so far this year, making things really exciting, making plays with his legs, and Josh Allen throwing some in last week too. So are you thinking that it's going to go over 56?
Is it 56?
That's what it was last I checked, which has been maybe a day, but it was 56. Which seems a little high to me.
Is a high number. They could go over. Yeah, I probably would stay away from that number.
Yeah.
In Arizona, they're putting up 30 points every week. Buffalo's defense isn't that good. So I could see over, but over 56 is just such
a lot.
Number. If I was forced to take, I would take the over, but it's risky because that game could go, 30-24, and you take the over, you lose.
Yeah. Full point PPR, Duke Johnson or Gibson?
I will go Gibson. Love the matchup. But he finds the end zone too, rushing.
Did Gibson practice today? Because I know yesterday he didn't practice because of his shoulder. Do you know?
I saw something that said he was fine. I don't remember if he officially practiced, but basically they said that he should be good to go for Sunday.
Okay, good. Higgins or Ayuk?
Is that T. Higgins?
Yeah, it's got to be.
You never know.
I guess it could be Rashad Higgins. I guess you're right.
I'm going to go T. Higgins.
T. Higgins. I'm going to go Ayuk. We're split on that one, guys. How do you guys feel about Zeke rest of season, Adam?
I feel terrible. I don't feel good. The only hope is that maybe Andy Dalton comes back and the offense gets better. I mean, they played okay against Pittsburgh, but I think that was more Pittsburgh playing down to the level of competition.
Maybe. And the schedule gets a little more tricky, I think, going forward too, which sort of stinks.
Don't they have a decent schedule? Let me see.
I think it's a little harder.
They got Minnesota, Washington.
That should be fine.
The Ravens, which is tough. The Bengals, which
Washington's tough run defense.
Yeah, they are. But the game is it's in Dallas for Thanksgiving, short travel week for Washington. The Ravens is tough. Bengals, not a good defense. 49ers are beat up. And then the Eagles. So not too bad.
How are you liking the wide receiver Reynolds this week in a GPP? Well, actually, we touched on that earlier. I kind of like him just for a GPP.
Yeah, I do too, especially if you're trying to stack the Rams side or get exposure to that game. Maybe you're stacking Seattle, you want to run it back. I mean, yeah, all those guys are good. Woods, Kupp, Reynolds, Goff. That's, the trend has said lots of points in the Seahawks game. As I said, I think the lowest total we've seen in the Seahawks game this year is 53. So their defense can't stop anyone. And until they show otherwise, we're going to keep picking on them.
Full point PPR, I need a flex. Drake, Antonio Brown, or Jacoby Myers? I think if Drake plays, it's Drake.
Yeah, as I throw up. And who was it? Antonio Brown and who?
Jacoby Myers.
Yeah, I would go Antonio Brown if Drake is out.
Okay, sounds good. Is Miami running back Ahmed over or under 10 touches?
Under. It looks like Breida's going to play.
What about DeAndre Washington?
He could be in the mix too,
Could, right?
Yeah.
I feel like DeAndre Washington could be a stash y'all. If you have deep leagues and you have deep benches, I would go get DeAndre Washington now before something happens and you can't get him.
I think that backfield's going to be a headache, though.
It is going to be a headache, but Breida's often injured. So if he's injured, if Gaskin stays injured, then basically that will narrow it down to Ahmed and Washington. They traded for Washington. So again, deep leagues, if you have a long bench, I would go ahead and do that now before it gets too expensive. Burton or Ebron?
Ebron.
Hollywood Brown or Justin Jefferson?
Gotta go Jefferson. Look, I love Hollywood Brown, and I want this to happen, but it's not. And I know Gilmore didn't practice today for New England. One of these days, Brown's going to have a big game, but if I'm playing him in some leagues, but in leagues where I have better options, I'm not. And I think Minnesota will have to throw a little bit more in this game. I know it's a tough matchup, but I'm going to go Jefferson.
I agree. Any thoughts on a Balaj revenge game?
No.
Just what are your thoughts on Balaj? We haven't talked about Balaj. I just What do you think? Whoa.
Yes.
Put down the booze.
Now with Balaj, I'm not confident in him. I actually think Troymaine Pope is a sleeper.
I agree. I told someone earlier that Pope is the one. If he plays, he's the one you start. Pope has been practicing. I think they like him, and they do tend to ride the hot hand. Anthony Lynn, like whoever's going well that day. I think Pope will get the first shot. Obviously, Josh Kelly is hanging around. Balaj, they actually optioned to the practice squad. Now that doesn't mean much.
Right.
They can bring him back.
They can activate him because this happened with someone recently, so they can still activate him this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
But I think you're going to see. I think this is a nightmare for the Chargers this week because if Jackson's out, you're going to see Balaj, Kelly, and Pope. But I thought Pope ran really well before he was out with the concussion, so he's the guy that I lean to. But it really is kind of a roll of the dice.
I agree. But I feel exactly the same way, but I'm leaning Pope. I'm not feeling like Kalen Balaj is suddenly a thing, but I get it. Okay. Going over to check Periscope, you guys. And nothing over there. Okay. YouTube back to Facebook. Rod Elliott says he appreciates us. Thanks, Rod. And Joseph Mayer says, thank you. He hopes we both have a great evening. Thank you, Joseph. You guys are so nice. Thank you. All right, guys, it looks like we're winding down. Any final thoughts about tonight's game? Maybe a few more who you would play Jonathan Taylor over. I think that's the thing that's the biggest question. Who would you play Jonathan Taylor over? And then one more time, tell people why they're crazy if they're not starting A.J. Brown.
Because A.J. Brown has been productive every single week. Again, he's scored a touchdown in every game except week 1. He's a big play threat, and we know where the ball's going. Even when the Titans don't have heavy volume, Brown's going to be a focal point. So there'll be a week where he has 4 catches, 40 yards. Maybe it's tonight, but I'm not benching him. Everywhere I have him, I'm playing him. With Taylor, it's just, I got him like right around the RB3. It's that area of running backs that are really tricky, that all have questionable roles. So I would play him over Singletary, Lindsey, Wilkins, guys like that. So I got him.
Would you play him over Moss?
No, I would play Moss.
Would you play him over Swift?
No.
Would you play him over Dobbins?
No, especially with Ingram not practicing today.
Would you play him over Malcolm Brown?
Yes, because it sounds like Henderson's going to play, so I'd roll with Taylor.
Would you play him over Jermichael Hasty?
Yeah.
What about Jerick McKinnon?
No, I would go McKinnon.
What about Salvon Ahmed?
No, I would go Taylor.
Taylor. All right. What about David Montgomery if he's out of concussion protocol?
If the problem is you got to make that decision now. So I have Montgomery ranked higher, but if those are your only 2 options, you probably got to play it safe and go Taylor tonight.
Duke Johnson or Jonathan Taylor?
Duke.
Duke Johnson or Darrell Henderson?
Duke.
Duke Johnson or J.K. Dobbins?
Duke.
Duke Johnson or Kareem Hunt?
Duke, but it's close.
Aha! I thought so. Duke Johnson or Wayne Gallman?
Duke.
Duke Johnson or Devontae Freeman?
Duke. Freeman hurt his ankle again at the end of practice today.
Ooh, that's good news. Duke Johnson or J.D. McKissick?
Duke.
All right. So, guys, that pretty much answers all your questions. Would you start Jonathan Taylor or Damien Harris?
Taylor.
I'm trying to get to the people that I think are going to be good questions. All right. So there you go. You guys enjoy your Thursday night football. Remember, we will be back on Sunday. There's a lot of questions that we can't quite answer yet because there's still a lot to be seen. Like, for instance, we just found out that Devonta Freeman may be injured again. That changes things. We need to know if David Johnson officially is out for the game before we start Duke Johnson at all. Again, if David Johnson plays, Duke Johnson no longer a thing because they don't really share. It's not a Kareem Hunt, Nick Chubb situation. And yeah, so Sunday morning, 11 a.m. Eastern time, Howard Bender and I will be here for all your start sits. In the meantime, Adam Ronis' rankings are on the site and they are updated up to the minute. If TJ Hawkinson's going to be out, it's going to be updated immediately. And DeAndre Swift is going to be bumped up immediately because that's the way Adam Ronis works. He works all the time. And on that note, I know he needs to go make a change right now for Jonnu Smith. So we're going to sign off 2 minutes early. You're welcome, Adam.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out what to do. I want to wait on Hawkinson.
I want you to wait on Hawkinson too, and I think you should. But yeah. And then just pick somebody else later to stream him because Johnny's not been that targeted and he's not been that good anyway. I mean, Ferkser could steal a goal line carry anyway. So anyway, we can talk about this off air. You guys enjoy your Thursday night football, and we will see you.